Concept I want to touch on today is less is more. I'm actually currently living through this concept right now because we have a large portfolio of properties, but it's kind of a hodgepodge mix of everything from multifamily to office buildings to land assemblages to industrial, retail, and everything in between. A decent sized portfolio, multiple like mid 9 figures. Our cash flow is disproportionately low to the portfolio, and it's like we have so much equity. Our return on equity seems very, very low considering how much equity we have. I analyzed if I actually sold half of the portfolio and used the proceeds to pay off the other half. And I sold the other half again and used proceeds to catch out partners. All right, we have equity partners in different projects and properties. And I only end up with a quarter what I have. I'm actually going to have, my net worth is not going to change. You know, it's going to be exactly the same, but my cash flow is going to like 10x. So it's like, why have 4 times as many properties to worry about when I can have just a quarter? So it's going to free up a lot of time because instead of having 100 properties, I might only have to worry about 25 properties. I'm going to own them 100% myself with no partners and no debt. And my cash flow actually going to be 10x more. When I realized that less is more, that's a prime example of where this comes to play. But I also like Steve Jobs' story. You know, when Steve Jobs was fired from his role at Apple, and then when he later came back as a CEO and the chairman of the board back to Apple after being outside of the company for several years. The company had 350 products when he came back. I think in the first like 30 days, I don't remember exactly the details. The first thing he did, he eliminated 347. I think he left 3 products. This is what we're gonna focus on. This is what we're gonna get very good at it. Apple computers. I don't think iPad was around at the time, but you know, he later invented iPad and iPhone. And that less is more, again, proven story that when you focus on less, you actually have more results. The moral of the story is that get very good at one thing and become extraordinary at it. And that's when you can see the compound effect multiply. Another way to put it is find the best way to make money and don't deviate from it. For 20 years, I've been so passionate about real estate. I wanted to try all aspects of real estate. I've tried, you know, everything from land development to building all kinds of mixed-use projects. And finally, I realized that you jack of so many trades that you're a master of none. And it's best to just find, like, out of all these things I've tried in commercial real estate, what is the best way to make money? And once I concluded that, we kind of shifted our entire strategy. Is, hey, we're just going to hyper focus on this one way to make money. We're not going to try to do all these kinds of fancy projects. Saying yes to kind of cool things is the most sure way to go bankrupt, to go out of business. Looking back, like the most troubled things that kind of slowed the opportunity cost, that slowed our growth and almost got us out of business was saying yes to cool shit. It was like, oh, this project looks cool. Like, yeah, it's like, it would be fun to develop this type of project in this location. But again, if it doesn't align with your focus and with your mission, for the end prerequisite to that, you have to know what your vision is, right? Because if you don't know, as Seneca said, if you don't know what harbor you're after, no wind is the right wind. So you have to know exactly what your goal is, and from that you're going to gain clarity what type of things you should say no to. By the way, the difference between successful people and super successful people, the super successful people say no to almost everything. I've been in the successful people realm for too long. Once I realized that the only way for me to be super successful, I have to say no to almost everything. That's what we do now. I still get pitch deals every day that look interesting and cool, and we can make money on them, but it's an office product conversion. Yeah, looks fun. It pencils out on paper, but it doesn't align with what we said ourselves is our buy box. So we're gonna pass on it. We're gonna be disciplined. The best way to make money outside of finding 1 year to become very, very good at it, stop losing it. So there's 2 aspects to making money. 1, making it, and B, keeping it. And keeping it is more important than making it. I know a lot of people who make a lot of money and then they're broke. Look at professional athletes. A lot of them, you know, make a lot of money and then, but if they don't invest or don't keep it, you know, it's gone after a few years.